All right, let's just dive right in. Today we're tackling something that's totally human, but also totally forbidden to talk about. We're going to get into the weird, unspoken rules that surround one of the most basic things our bodies do.
I mean, think about it. It's a real puzzle, right? Every single one of us, every person on this planet does this thing several times a day. It's maybe the most universal experience we have, and yet we're terrified of it happening in public. It causes this huge anxiety, it's the butt of a million jokes, and sometimes it's just a source of pure shame. So, what is really going on here?
Okay, so to really get a handle on this whole social taboo, we've got to start with the basics, the simple, unavoidable science of it all. Before we can even touch on why we get so weird about it, we need to understand what's actually happening inside our bodies. So let's just be clear about what we're talking about using the scientific term flatulence. It's just the passage of gas from the digestive system. And the most important part to remember here is that it's completely natural and you can't help it. It's not a choice. It's just a thing that happens when you eat and live. So, how does this all happen? Well, it's actually a pretty straightforward journey. First, you swallow air. Then, as your body breaks down food, it creates its own byproducts, gases. On top of that, the bacteria in your gut are having a party, fermenting stuff, and that creates even more gas. All that gas has to go somewhere, so the pressure builds up until, well, physics just takes over. It's actually a pretty neat little system when you think about it.
And get this, the average person does this about 14 times a day. 14! Yeah, some people more, some less, but nobody, and I mean nobody, is at zero. So that begs the question, right? If every single one of us is doing this constantly, why on earth did it become this source of absolute social terror?
And that question is the perfect lead-in to our next section. We're shifting gears now, moving from biology to sociology. How did something so normal, so mundane, get turned into a potential social disaster? Who or what are these architects of awkwardness? This quote really just nails that feeling perfectly. The sound is temporary, the shame is eternal. It is the ghost of a meal haunting the present. Wow. I mean, it stops being about a simple physical thing and becomes this social ghost. And that's the real conflict we're digging into. And this shows you that conflict in black and white. It's a total paradox. On one side, you have the internal experience. For you, it's just relief. It's a neutral, totally private thing your body does. But the second it becomes public, the perception flips entirely. Now it's a disruption. It's either a joke or it's disgusting. It's seen as a violation of shared space. And that clash, right there, is where all the embarrassment comes from. So, what's holding this whole taboo up? Well, it seems to be built on four big pillars. First, there's what you could call the olfactory contract, an unspoken deal we all have to not, foul the air we all have to breathe. Then there's the sound itself. It's an unwelcome interruption. It also plays on our deep-seated anxiety of control, this idea that our civilized, modern body has somehow failed us. And lastly, there's this ancient link to ideas of impurity and contamination. But here's the really wild part. It wasn't always like this, not even close. And this is where the story gets super interesting. We're going to take a quick trip through history and see how different people at different times have handled the exact same bodily function. Okay, this is amazing. Just look at the difference across cultures. In ancient Rome, they were totally pragmatic about it. The Emperor Claudius apparently argued that holding it in was bad for your health and should be allowed at dinner parties. Then you jump over to Japan in the Heian era, and it was literally a subject of art and comedy. They have these famous scrolls showing what they called fart battles. But then you get to Victorian England, and the party's over. It becomes this deeply repressed thing, a sign that you lacked control, that you were low class. And honestly, a lot of our modern anxiety comes directly from them. So, we've gone through the science, the sociology, the history. Where does all of this leave us? Well, it brings us to a final question that's surprisingly deep. We're kind of moving past the physical now and into the philosophical. And really, this is the whole point. This was never just about a simple bodily function. It's a perfect little case study in how society works, about control and fitting in and being authentic. Because you have to wonder, if we're all pressured to pretend something this basic and universal doesn't happen, what else are we hiding? What other bigger truths about ourselves are we pushing down just to conform? It's a question that kind of sticks with you, long after the air is cleared. Hey, if you enjoyed this weird little journey into the unspoken rules of our world, do us a favor and subscribe for more. We love digging into this stuff. And hey, share this with a friend. We'd love to hear from you in the comments too. What's something in your own life you'd want to reset? What's another unspoken rule we should all start questioning? Let us know. Thanks so much for hanging out with us.